welcome to The Last Scout Show. The Last Scout Show coming at you from small town rural America on the Missouri-Kansas border. A production of Okie Joe LSR Radio. I am so glad you have decided to pop in today. It's nice to see you. I hope you all are doing well. Well, so much going on as usual. What isn't happening anymore? Well, you had the big March for Lives or Our Lives or something like that all across the U.S. Oink, oink, oink. Little man up on the stand, fist raised high in the air with a limp wrist. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But that's okay. You are now at the Last Scout Show. And one of the things that I've been thinking about just recently is, you hear all this talk that a lot of stuff's coming down judiciously on, hopefully, criminals and treasonous, traitorous bastards and whatever against this country. But I was thinking about court proceedings that I had seen before, and got this little pamphlet thing in the mail and called a Citizen's Rule Book. And as I was thumbing through it, I came across, and we've all heard the term, you have a right to trial by jury of your peers. That's your constitutional right. And so I came across a writing in here and discussion of jury of peers, and we're just going to go over it. Our forefathers felt that in order to have justice, it is obvious a jury of peers must be people who actually know the defendant. How else would they be able to judge motive and intent? Peers of the defendant, like the rights of the jury, have also been severely tarnished. Originally, it meant people of equals in station and rank, and freeholders of a neighborhood, or a companion, a fellow, and associate, who has the right to sit on a jury. Patrick Henry, along with others, was deeply concerned as to who has the right to sit on a jury. Listen to our forefathers' wisdom on the subject of peers. And this is Patrick Henry. By the Bill of Rights of England, a subject has a right to a trial by his peers. What is meant by his peers? Those who reside near him, his neighbors, and who are well acquainted with his character and situation in life. And Patrick Henry also knew that originally the jury of peers was designed as a protection for neighbors from outside governmental oppression. Henry states the following: why do we love this trial by jury? Because it prevents the hand of oppression from cutting you off. This gives me comfort that as long as I have existence, my neighbors will protect me. Mr. Holmes from Massachusetts argues strenuously that for justice to prevail, the case must be heard in the vicinity where the fact was committed by a jury of peers. A jury of the peers would from their, and this is a quote from him, a jury of the peers would, from their local situation, have an opportunity to form a judgment of the character of the person charged with the crime, and also to judge of the credibility of the witnesses. The people are both the masters of both Congress and courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who pervert it. And that was Abraham Lincoln. Mr. Wilson, signer of the unanimous declaration, who also later became a Supreme Court justice, stressed the importance of the jurors knowing personally both the defendant and the witnesses, where jurors can be acquainted with the characters of the parties and the witnesses, where the whole cause can be brought within their knowledge and their view. I know no mode of investigation equal to that by trial, by jury. They hear everything that is alleged. They not only hear the words, but they see and mark the features of the countenance. They can judge of weight due to such testimony, and moreover, it is a cheap and expeditious manner of distributing justice. There is another advantage annexed to trial by jury. The jurors may indeed return a mistaken or ill-founded verdict, but their errors cannot be systematical. All right, continuing on. Almost every juror in the land is falsely instructed by the judge when it is told it must accept as the law that which is given to them by the count, and that the jury can decide only the facts of the case. This is to destroy the purpose of a common law jury and to permit the imposition of tyranny upon a people. The jury's options are by no means limited to the choices presented to it in the courtroom. The jury gets its understanding as to the arrangements in the legal system from more than one voice. There is the formal communication from the judge. There is the informational communication from the total culture, literature, current commitment, conversation, and, of course, history and tradition. Without the power to decide what facts, law, and evidence are applicable, juries cannot be a protection to the accused. If people acting in the name of the government are permitted by jurors to dictate any law whatever, they can also unfairly dictate what evidence is admissible or inadmissible and thereby prevent the whole truth from being considered. Thus, if the government can manipulate and control both the law and the evidence, the issue of the fact becomes virtually irrelevant. In reality, true justice would be denied, leaving us with a trial by government and not a trial by jury. Heroes are men of glory who are so honored because of some heroic deed. People often, out of gratitude, yield allegiance to them. Honor and allegiance are nice words for power. Power and allegiance can only be held rightfully by trust as a result of continued character. When people acting in the name of the government violate ethics, they break trust with we the people. The natural result is for we the people to pull back power, honor, and allegiance. The loss of power creates fear for those losing the power. Fearing the loss of power, people acting in the name of government often seek to regain or at least hold their power, hence to legitimize their quest for control. Laws and force are often instituted. Unchecked power is the foundation of tyranny. It is jurors' duty to use the jury room as a vehicle to stem the tide of oppression and tyranny, to prevent bloodshed by peacefully removing power from those who have abused it. The jury is the primary vehicle for the peaceable restoration of liberty, power, and honor to we the people. And remember, as a juror, you are not a rubber stamp. By what logic do we send our youth to battle tyranny on foreign soil while we refuse to do so in our courts? Do you know that many of the planks of the Communist Manifesto are now represented by law in the U.S.? How is it possible for Americans to denounce communism and practice it simultaneously? The jury judges the spirit, motive, and intent of both the law and the accused, whereas the prosecutor only represents the letter of the law. Therein lies the opportunity for the accomplishment of liberty and justice for all. Now, I really like the way he put that. The jury judges the spirit, motive, and intent of both the law and the accused, whereas the prosecutor only represents the letter of the law. The spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. The letter of the law to prosecute, and the spirit of the law to either find guilty or acquit. Juries are important. I have been on a jury myself, and it's fascinating to watch the selection process, to watch challenges that go by the prosecutor and by the defendant's attorney. It's if you ever do get the chance to go and do jury duty, I highly suggest that you take advantage of it because it's an experience that you'll never forget. And I ended up being picked for the jury, and the weight of the commitment that you take as a juror weighs heavily, especially when the most profound thing hits you is, yeah, that I am being a judge and asked to make a decision on a person's guilt or innocence. Believe me, you think before you go into a jury, I'd find that whatever, guilty in a heartbeat or whatever. Well, once you're inside the process and you're actually a member of the jury, you change the way that you look at it, because you have to put yourself in the defendant's shoes, that this could be me, and would I want me to be on the jury that judges me? Would I want the same attention to detail and fairness given to me if I was on the jury? Yes, I would, as a defendant. So, jury of my peers, jury of your peers. Reminds me of Otis Redding sitting on the dock of the bay with peers. Anyway, I'm just messing with you a little bit. So, hang on. I shall return right after this.
The Gemini space flights. The trips are long. The training is hard, like this spacewalk practice. But the astronauts do some things you do. In space, they drank Tang. They mixed it like this in a zero-G pouch, because with no gravity, it would fly all over. You don't have that problem. You can mix it in a glass. Up there, they have to drink it carefully, this way. You can drink it any way you like. Tang tastes orangey. Tastes great. Has lots of vitamins C and A. Tang, chosen for the Gemini astronauts. Have a blast.
Hello, I'm Byron
Tang.
Dorgan, and I worked on a lot of issues when I served as a U.S. Senator, but I am most proud of working to try to help American Indian children who have too often been left behind.
Hello, I'm Jacoby Ellsbury, center fielder for the Boston Red Sox, and a Native American. I serve on the board of this center.
I created the Center for Native American Youth because we have to help these kids believe that anything and everything is possible for them.
Preventing teen suicide is the heart of our work. Native American youth experience the highest rate of youth suicide of any population in the U.S.
Better education, better health care, more opportunities. We can help these kids realize their dreams.
We're all someone in a child's life, whether a role model, tribal leader, a friend,
A parent, mentor, or a neighbor.
Native American youth are our future, and everyone should be involved.
I don't know what's in second or third place in people's lives, but I know what is first: our children. Visit our website at cnay.org to learn more.
This is the Last Scout Show, and we've got a wind-down segment for you. Something I hope you enjoy. I don't know how many of you caught the show a few days ago, to where it wasn't a radio edition, it was a video edition, to where I went over some very old books and rare books that I had. And yeah, I like to collect them, but I mean, it's not like I go out and run after them, collect them. If I just happen to come across something at a garage or a yard sale or at a flea market, then I'm interested in it. And I had this one set of encyclopedias that I picked up, and I ended up getting the whole set. And I got the whole set, the Mrs. and I got the whole set for around $3, I think. And there's like, 20 volumes. And the print on these is 1919 is when this edition, this 20-book edition, was published, and it's got all these lithographs. I mean, it's all done so old school. I mean, it's, this book will be, it's 99 years old right now, the set of encyclopedias. And the things that it goes through, and the name of the encyclopedias are the Book of Knowledge. And this edition in 1919 was, let's see, the Book of Knowledge, the Children's Encyclopedia, was printed by the Grolier Society out of New York. And so, let's see, the College City of New York. And with an introduction by John H. Finley, LLD, late president of the College of the City of New York, Commissioner of Education of the State of New York. Remember back in when the states and not the federal government controlled the schools? So I was taking a look at these books. Like I said, this set of encyclopedias now is 99 years old. And I came across one of my favorites of God's creation. There are all these little articles in here, and like there are these old lithographs, and it's called Packing the Tea for Its Long Journey, and it says, the Chinese still pack tea in the old-fashioned way and trodden by the coolies with their bare feet. I mean, it's quite an interesting book, and it's just absolutely amazing. But anyway, to get to the point of why I'm into this book is I found it really interesting. They have this one section, and it's called The Story of the Horse. And so I'm just going to read a little bit of it. You remember this was written 99 years ago. It's called The Story of the Horse. Everyone loves a horse and admires him in action, whether he is an Arab or thoroughbred eager for the race, a great Percheron or Clydesdales throwing his weight against the collar as he hauls a heavy load or draws a plow through the fresh earth, or a child's pony. As proud of his pretty trappings as his little rider, every line of the horse's body shows that he is built for strength and power. Next to the dog, the horse is the most faithful and intelligent four-footed friend we have, and we have none that has given us truer service or can show greater devotion to his owner. Even among the nations that despise the dog as unclean, the horse is loved for his faithfulness and intelligence, and a tired and hungry rider will always see that his patient horse is cared for before he attends to his own wants. Scholars have taken special pains to trace back the history of the horse. Their search has carried them far back beyond even the picture records of the cavemen among the fossils of animals that had died out even before the caveman lived, and they are able to tell us more about the horse than about any other animal in the world. It is a very interesting story that they have to tell, and it is all the more interesting to us because it is believed that the early development of the horse began on our own continent. Fossil skeletons have been found in Wyoming and New Mexico, which tell his life story from very early times. Now, I'll tell you right now, when I read that earlier today, it's the first time I ever read that. I never realized that they had found fossils in Wyoming and New Mexico. And I read further on, and it says, let me find it just real quick. Well, I'll give you, for instance, I remember the information off the top of my feet. I can't find it in the book. But it does talk about that the fossils of the horses that were found in Wyoming are believed to be 3 million years old. So, there you have it. Look at those horses. Aren't those beautiful horses running? They are so grand and majestic. So grand and majestic. Well, that is going to wrap up this edition of the Last Scout Show. Please remember that the Last Scout Show, Last Scout Radio, is not monetized. I don't want any money. The thing of value that you have is your time, and I do appreciate you spending your time with me. I try to keep my shows between 20 and 30 minutes long because I know you've got a lot to do out there to survive in this country. So, from the Okie-Joe Frontier Studios, from rural America, small town America, on the Missouri-Kansas border, this has been the Last Scout Show, an Okie-Joe and LSR production. I'm the Last Scout. Take care, and God bless.